Yes, guys, welcome back to Chasing Green Arrows. This is our penultimate show, and we called it Ask Us Anything. I'm Gianni Battici. I'm joined with regular co-host, Mr. Dean Jones. Dean, how are you, mate?
Yeah, their question is, why are you late? Why are you late, guys? You got 2 shows left and you're not turning up. Imagine we just left it on that. We just left it.
Like mic drop moment.
Just never turned up again. Cruel. We're not that cruel.
We're definitely not.
Yeah, I'm okay, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I've just seen, ironically, this is a show we weren't planning on speaking too much about FPL, but just to kick us off, on the hour mark, the Premier League have dropped the double game week announcement we were probably expecting. So there will be a double game week in game week 26. Now, we don't quite know the 4 teams that will get the double, but it's very likely it will be Arsenal, who will play Brentford and Wolves, who will play Forest and Arsenal. Arsenal just need to beat Chelsea in the Carabao Cup semi. If Chelsea win the Carabao Cup semi-final and qualify to the final, knock Arsenal out, then Chelsea and Everton both get the double. So it's 2 teams that get a double. It's either Arsenal and Wolves or Chelsea and Everton. Chelsea would play Leeds and Everton. Everton would play Bournemouth and Chelsea. I think we're all backing Arsenal to beat Chelsea. They've got the home advantage now. And they're 1 goal up.
I have to say, though, like, Liam Senior surprised me a little bit. He's had a good start. And I quite like the way he plays. I think it's risky at times.
It feels like we're going to concede though all the time.
Does, yeah, but like the explosiveness of like suddenly like turning a kind of a moment when you're on the back foot into a moment when you're on the front foot. Been quite impressed by that, and obviously he's transformed João Pedro. We talked about him a bit the other day, but then obviously since then he's grown and grown. Like, we definitely would have João Pedro in for a double game week at the moment, I think. I mean, I might be getting him in for a single game week, to be honest with you. I mean, I look at this weekend, West Ham at home, and I tell you what, I think João Pedro is a good pick.
We spoke about Delap, didn't we? And it was interesting, even last night, like, made a lot of substitutions, attack Gittins and Garnacho and Palmer coming on. He still gives João Pedro the 90 and keeps Delap benched. We're sort of seeing the pecking order in those attacking spots, and Delap is way further down than I thought it'd be. So yeah, João Pedro getting the minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's interesting. And Arsenal, I think I can trust him. As we obviously had a long debate on here the other day, so I'm not going to go back through all of that. But it's an interesting time. So let's see who comes out on top in that cup game, because I think it might be a little bit more testy than we think.
Yeah, I think it might be. Interesting. We'll talk more about our FPL teams when the questions come up, or even, on our deadline stream. We're going to be streaming again on Saturday, which will be our last one. But shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank you to all those that have joined. And for those that were there earlier, apologies we were late. We want you to dictate the agenda as a bit of a sort of conclusion to our 4 years together. We thought we don't have to do FPL every show. If you guys want us to talk about anything in particular around the world of football, ideally, then that'd be great. Like, it could be, let's discuss it with you lot, 5 minutes on the best world 11. Probably need 10. We want to do the best Premier League 11 this season. We could do transfer stories. We can do underrated players. You can do best goal, whatever you think. We're here.
Yeah, it's probably going to sound really weird. It's not going to be anything about football. Can you stop asking about Villa double game week 26 in the chat? That's don't spam the chat today. That's one thing we don't want.
I've just given the double game week permutation.
Just told you who just told you who it is. It's not Aston Villa, so don't worry about it. We're going to get strict now. We've got 2 weeks left. Not standing for this. Right. Let's see if we've got anything coming in. There you go. CH, what's the meaning of life? There you go, Drew.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, it does turn out all the questions are FPL related.
Well, it's not FPL. That's the thing. FPL is not the meaning of life. And this is supposed to be fun. That's the thing that we should probably start with. Because at times, it gets stressful for people, especially G. And it's not supposed to be stressful. And I've been reading on X and stuff when they're a bad game week. So I see some content creators at the moment who have had a bad time of things, and they're like, I can't be bothered anymore. Like, what's the point? And it's like, look, don't forget, every single one of you is guessing every single week. Everyone. Nobody knows any better than anyone else. Doesn't matter whether you're Harry FPL or Heather in the chat. You're all guessing each week who's going to do well. And it's just that you put a bit more time into the analysis, the data, the watching of games, as to how seriously you want to take it. But ultimately, whether you're just watching YouTube or you're on YouTube, it doesn't really matter. So, like, the meaning of life is don't take FPL too seriously because it is supposed to be a game.
I like that. I like that very
What was
much.
that,
And
mate? What's
games
happening?
have to be fun. And if you're not getting fun out of FPL, then think about playing a different game or playing it differently.
Yeah. Have you still
We've
had
got some
fun
good.
this season? Like, because obviously, like, you wish you were higher, and it obviously, like, affects. It does genuinely affect your life. I'm not saying it doesn't affect your life because obviously it does because it's a form of your career. But do you still manage to keep it light?
Do you know what I do? And I say this to my ultras WhatsApp chat all the time. I try not to obsess over rank, certainly mid-game week ranks. It really bugs me when people obsess over their mid-game week ranks and they get really upset about the fact they're on a red arrow and it's like 4 of their 11 players have played and you're like, oh my God, dude, like in the next few hours, that could change. Like not, yeah, it can change next week, but it can also change in the next 4 hours. So let's not stress about red arrows mid-game week. Like there's still a lot of football to be played quite often. And we sometimes, and I see it both ways. I see people really enjoying their green arrow after a few games, like, and I'm like, oh no, of course, get the excitement you want out the game. But if you build it up that high, then it's like, it's a big fall. So my thing with FPL in general, and I've not always been like this, but certainly the last few years, I don't let the highs become too high and then the lows aren't that low. You won't see me going ballistic when Chelsea score or one of my players scores a penalty. I don't feel that because I don't over celebrate and I don't genuinely care that much if my player gets points. I have a little fist pump every now and then, but I don't get too high with it. And because of that, I think I therefore don't get too low with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's fair. FPL definitely adds something to my football watching life. Sometimes it does make it a bit less enjoyable sometimes because I'm like watching games and really worrying about whether someone scores or not. And I'm like, one of my friends did actually quit FPL. He was really good at it. And this is his first season without it. And I've been messaging him like, oh, mate, I'm like, I wish you were in it because I'm having a really good season. I would love to know how you were doing. And like, he's like, I was like, do you think you'll come back to it? He's like, no. I was like, you serious? Like, he's like, I do kind of miss it. He's like, I'm not going to pretend I don't miss playing it at all. He said, but one thing I don't miss is watching games in the way that you watch them for FPL.
We do watch them differently, don't we? We're thinking about defensive contributions and bonus points and who got the assist rather than just I want my team to win.
Yeah, exactly. Mike says content creators perpetuate it a bit when they post their good ranks and obsess over them. Yeah. And look, I've tried not to really, obviously, like I've had a very good rank recently. But I know that, like, if you're up at 7K at this point, it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm not, obviously we've tried to use it to boost the channel a little bit to see if it could make any difference to how many people we come and watch, because that's kind of the point of an FPL show. But outside of that, like, I'm very realistic to know that I'm gonna dip again and then I might pick up again, and we'll see where we end up. It's just been fun to kind of be up at that end. Mark says the FPL community can be rough sometimes. It's a game. It should be fun. You both add to that enjoyment because ultimately we all love football. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think that CGA has been good for. I think that we've had discussions here that you haven't got on other FPL channels. And I think that that's been and that was the idea of it. That was why we had me mixed with you. It was like, you are locked in at all times to everything that's going on, like the double game week announcement for this week and stuff like that. Whereas I just work in football. I watch a lot of football. I know a lot of people in football. So I'll give you tips from now, here and there. And I've been able to steer you towards what I'm noticing in the games or what I'm hearing behind the scenes about players coming through. So hopefully we've all benefited from that over the past 4 years. So that's been fun.
Got some great questions coming in. Ice G says, who's winning the USA World Cup? We'll definitely get to that. Is the Prem, says Peter, now a Premier League Super League? Really good point. We'll get to that. There's been a few. I think Heather asked a good one. Oh, Little Miss FPL. What will you guys miss about CGA apart from us? Love that. So yeah, let's answer some of them. And we'll continue to do it. We'll spend a couple of minutes on each. So where should we start, Dean, out of those ones?
We could start with the World Cup if you want.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it will be Spain or France. That's obviously very obvious to say. But they have the most strength in depth. They have good pedigree. They have a bit of everything, to be honest with you. So I would expect those guys to be there. Obviously, behind that, people are going to talk about England and Brazil and Argentina. Morocco are the ones that kind of the dark horse. Like Morocco are the growing superpower in international football, and they'll be in the latter stages of this tournament. I don't think Morocco will win the tournament, but we've just seen them obviously in AFCON what they're capable of, and we see the depth that they've got in their unders teams as well. So Morocco are ones to look out for. But yeah, I'd be surprised if the winner doesn't come from Spain, France. I don't think England will win it. I'm never going to say that. Brazil and Argentina, yeah.
I've got a sneaky suspicion Brazil have a really good tournament. Like get to a final or win it. I just like
because João Pedro's the new 9.
Imagine. I mean, yeah, or Thiago even at Brentford. Who knows if he sneaks into the squad? But I don't know. I just like I often think with international football, the level of manager is significantly lower than what we're used to when we're watching top football, Premier League or certainly Champions League. The managers in those competitions are a lot better than the international managers. You know, Gareth Southgate's not getting a top job away from England.
Usually. Obviously, now that you've got Tuchel and Nagelsmann and Pochettino and all these guys. Ancelotti, obviously Pochettino.
That's why I like Brazil. I just like the manager and England because of Tuchel.
Well, it goes to show, doesn't it? There are some teams that just suit having a vibes manager, and I think that's looked at as a detriment to Ancelotti. That's how he let Real Madrid play, but it's not detriment. It's understanding what you've got in front of you, and just allowing them to play. And if you look at what's happened to Real Madrid since Ancelotti left, and you look at what Brazil have got and their capabilities, you're like, I mean, what can I really tell this lot? Like, I'm not going to lock them into a 4-5-1 or something. I'm not going to tell him to track back because you just got to go and score more goals. So that's what's going to be fun about Brazil. And obviously,
he's so good at that, Ancelotti.
Yeah.
We've watched him manage since the 90s, and we can't honestly say his ideal setup because every club he's gone to, he's changed a very different system. Like he works with the tools he's got. So, it's not like Amorim where it's like, oh, you're going to come in and play your one system and be so resilient. It's the opposite to that. And I just think for international football, that works so well.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I'm just doing a quick tweet while you talk there because it looks like AC Milan are hijacking the Mateta to Forest deal.
Quite right. I mean, he clearly wants to go to Juve or Milan.
He hasn't wanted to go to the whole point of him moving wasn't to go to Nottingham Forest.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like a means to an end.
It's like I wrote a story 2 days ago. Tottenham had started to have a little look at it, and I was like, okay, it makes a bit more sense. Like Juve have looked at him, Milan have been looking at him. I was like, he cannot end up at Nottingham Forest. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Thank you for all the love, guys, and lovely comments. We had a few more things I said I'd address, so I'll let our producer flash up those questions that I pinpointed. But yeah, Peter's comment was great. Is it a Premier League Super League? It's ironic that the Premier League clubs were so anti it, but we already have a Super League, right? Like, the money is insane. When we see AC Milan going head-to-head with Forest for a signing, or, Bournemouth with various players from Serie A or Italy, and it's like, oh, Bournemouth going head-to-head with the top teams in, with a Napoli, and you're like, what? It is a bit of a Super League, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Like, it's the reason everyone wants to come here. It is the most competitive in the sense that the highest quality players all come to England. And the reason they all started to come to England was because of the money. Now, it's obviously different to going to Saudi Arabia for money. Like, it's not that they've just pulled them in with the money, because obviously you also get the coaches here, and there's the history and the traditions of the game are in England too. It's the biggest league in the world. And it doesn't always mean that it's the best. And there's quite a debate at the moment to say whether it is a good league. Like, some people think it's great because it's competitive. Some people think that there's been a quality drop. I just think that the entire league is just playing at a higher level. Like, do you see some of the players that, when Granit Xhaka goes and joins Sunderland, it goes to show you that the league's changed. Because a few years back, a player that good wouldn't be considering a team that's coming into the Premier League on the back of a good, 15-game run at the end of a championship season, whatever it was. So it's definitely a super league of type. I do think one day we'll have a Super League. I think it's inevitable.
Yeah.
I do, yeah. It's just a case of, does it replace the Champions League? Or because I don't think it's going to be accepted, hopefully not in our lifetime, that the domestic calendar is like just disappears. The Premier League can't disappear. And also the Premier League has so much power in itself that a lot of people won't want that to happen. The lower teams can't allow for that to happen. But obviously, the way that the Champions League is now made up, it kind of feels like a Super League. But I can definitely see a case, and I've spoken to people who genuinely have a hand in kind of setting these things up, and they think we will get to the stage whereby the European Super League will run midweek and the domestic leagues will run at weekends.
So right.
Kind of.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about
that. It waters it down, really, doesn't it? That's the thing. It waters it down. Like when you get your team going into a big match against, say, AC Milan or any of those like famous European teams, it's a special occasion at the moment, just about, and that's quickly gonna disappear if you're playing them 2-3 times a season.
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Also, how on earth are we all supposed to afford to go and watch that? It's hard enough to get a train into London these days, let alone a train every 2 weeks or a plane every week across Europe.
I paid 90 quid for a peak, 80 something quid for a peak return to London the other day. Sorry, off-peak return. Off-peak return. Off-peak.
What's that,
80.
hour and a half?
Hour 10.
Hour 10.
I'm an hour 10, my
That's
nearest
insane.
station. And it was 80 something pound, and that was off peak. If I go peak, it's like 140. But the way back, my train is. Came back at like 5:30. Got on the train at St Pancras at 5:30. It's usually an 8-carriage train. It was 4 carriages. I stood the entire journey home like I was on the underground for an hour and 10 minutes, and I'd paid for that individual journey 40 odd quid. And it's like, oh man,
mate, that is crazy. I'll be back in England in about 10 days, so I look forward to getting the train somewhere. Wazza says, question for Dean: where would MLS teams fit if inserted in the English pyramid? Well, that's a bit too vague because like there's such a vast quality gap between the best MLS team and the worst MLS team. Like the worst MLS team sometimes is probably League Two. The best MLS team would belong in the Premier League. Like it's that different, and what you see week on week. Yeah, like it can be. Like some teams, if they just don't get going, then they just kind of they just fade throughout the season. There's this culture in America whereby it doesn't happen as much in football as it does in other sports, but you tank one season to get the first pick the next season in the draft or whatever. Like we haven't really seen that too much in MLS so far, but obviously in some sports like NFL, that does exist and you just have a throwaway season. But like San Diego FC, we were one of the best teams in the league last season. Could easily have won MLS Cup had it gone a little differently. Having watched the whole season of football, where would I pit San Diego FC? Honestly, on their day, they could definitely be a mid-table Premier League team.
Wow, really? I'm shocked.
On their day. Like there are enough good players in there that could hold their own. Like especially when you look at the table right now and you see who the teams are that are mid-table, because they had because they've got a defined playing style. They had 5 good players. They had some good emerging players. Yeah, I'd say on the day, San Diego FC are mid-table of the Prem. Otherwise, I'd say, relegated / top end of champ. So it's good. Like Anders Dreyer is like genuinely a very good player. Mark says, behave, Dean. They'd beat Fulham. I don't think they would beat. Well, they could beat Fulham. Yeah, I'd say they could beat Fulham on their day. Not if they played like 5 times, then they might be 1 out of 5. I'd say that, but yeah, having watched them across last season, genuinely, the standard isn't what people think it is. The good teams are very good, and the good players are very good. Like Anders Dreyer genuinely feels wasted in MLS. He's a very good player.
Just trying to read the comments, and it's hard to get through for the topics. Let us know what topics you want us to speak about. But yeah, Little Miss FPL, thank you for keeping them coming. What will you guys miss about CGA apart from us? Genuinely, Little Miss FPL. It is the chat from the Chasers. That is the reason why we continue to do the show for so long. It was a community we'd built, and I really, really hope that community I can keep on my channel. And I know a lot of you already watch my channel, but some of you perhaps don't. And I hope the community continues on my YouTube channel. I don't do as many lives as Chasing Green Arrows. I never did any lives when I started. Chasing Green Arrows was like, I felt like it was my live channel, and then my channel was only ever pre-recorded content till last season. But yeah, I do a deadline stream, and I do a Sunday debrief now. So I do a couple of lives, and I'll perhaps even look to do more. But yeah, I mean, what else will I miss? I mean, chatting to Dean, like 3 hours a week for 4 years. That's more than a chat to any of my mates.
Yeah, we said that the other day, didn't we? Very weird. Be very weird. But it's not over yet. We still got a couple of hours left of chat.
Yeah, we'll WhatsApp every now and then, won't we?
Yeah, and you can still catch us. Or I haven't figured out what I'm doing FPL wise yet, but I know that some of you have been saying the last couple of days, like when I was doing the Arsenal rant the other day, it's like people are like, oh, I'm going to miss this. It's like I talk like this like multiple times a week on Ranks FC. Like it's not a YouTube show; it's a podcast. But like genuinely, if sign up to Ranks FC, you can get we have one free show that goes out. There's one today that's out about last night's Champions League action. We've reviewed every game, and yeah, on a Patreon, you get just the general chat. Me and Jack Collins, like just chat pretty much. Like we have a post box where we answer questions. So I know some of you don't like podcasts, you prefer YouTube, and that's fine. I get it. But if you just want to hear some of that, then come over there. And there is a good chance that I start doing some FPL content over there as well.
Like that very much. Ice G just asked a question, which is I'm so into this one.
Okay.
Would an all-time Premier League 11 beat a Serie A 11 beat an all-time Premier League? It ain't even close. If you just look at the Ballon d'Or winners that have come out of Serie A versus the Ballon d'Or winners that have come out of the Premier League, which I'm not going to lie, isn't a thing I've ever done, but I'm looking at it now from 1987, just because that's the year I was born, right? It was when my footballing should sort of start. Yeah. Ruud Gullit, Ballon d'Or, Milan. 88, Van Basten, Milan. 89, Van Basten, Milan. 90, Lothar Matthäus, Inter Milan. 91, Papan, Marseille. 92, Van Basten, Milan. 93, Baggio, Juventus. Then Stoichkov, Barcelona. George Weah, Milan. Like it just continues with Inter Milan, Ronaldo, Zidane, Juventus. Like every year, it's pretty much Serie A or at times Real Madrid or Barcelona. Michael Owen won it in 2001 and whatever. It's not even close.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they kind of just lost their power, Serie A, because they missed the boat on terms of like the marketing strategy.
Yeah,
and
the broadcast deals. Premier League was so smart.
The Premier League just jumped ahead in the marketing aspect, and they absolutely nailed it. So when someone asked earlier on about is it the Super League, it could easily have been that Serie A ended up being that.
And it probably was. It was the Serie A Super League.
It probably was.
The money was insane in the 90s.
Yeah, it was great. And with the way the world is now, it would have been easy to turn things around and have us all watching every Serie A. I mean, I watch loads of Serie A still anyway, but I know that most people don't. But now the problem is their stadiums are not that good. Everything around the structure of the games is pretty poor. Still quite a lot of trouble at their games. Like you've only got to see even Chelsea going Napoli this week.
Not really.
Like obviously, people think of hooliganism attached to England, but like pretty big problem among ultras in Italy still, and most clubs have factions within it whereby you've got to be careful. So there's all of that. But when you look at it,
in a section of fans and the steward's gone, don't do it. Like, go sit over there. And I'm like, yeah, but here's my ticket. And they're like,
sad, isn't it?
Yeah, but you're sat with the Lazio ultras. Do you really want to be doing Nazi salutes every 10 seconds? Because that's what you're surrounded by people doing that. You know?
Yeah, no thanks. It's sad, really, because it's now a long time since Serie A had that hold. The Premier League has had its grasp on this for a long time now. What, 30 years? It really has been that strong for that long, and slowly, yeah, they just haven't found a way to catch up. They might still be able to do it if they can nail like this next era of change. If they could like get Serie A on, I don't know, Netflix or something, and they can market it in a way like that. Just find that group of kids that are emerging right now as big football fans who are, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years old and are going to grow up through their teens watching something like we did back in the 90s. Then maybe there's an opportunity. But
USA is an important market for them because there's so culturally such a strong link with Italian Americans. They see, I think, the USA market as one they should and couldn't and can and are tapping into.
Yeah.
But obviously the American market watches a huge amount of Premier League. It's really hard to go against that. But Serie A did open an office in New York a couple of years ago. They've got a marketing team there.
Yeah, like the coverage over here is pretty good. Like you can
CBS cover it, right? So they have Champions League and Serie A.
Honestly, it's so spread out here. I like every day. I'm like, is it on CBS? Is it on Paramount? Is it on Prime? Is it on? Fox. Well, I've got like literally like 6 subscriptions, and I just quickly jump around to see where the games are each day. YouTube TV, whatever. So I can't remember where it is, but I know that I can get almost all Serie A. Whereas actually La Liga's, it's on ESPN. I don't like ESPN. I don't actually have ESPN. It's like an extra $40 a month on top of everything else, and it's really
it's
that.
one of the expensive.
I'm just like, yeah, you're right. I'll figure out another way to watch that. Like as the flip of that, like you get Peacock here, where the Premier League's shown. It's like $6 a month or something, and it's just like that is insane. So yeah, Serie A's got some catching up to do. One thing I will say, in terms of America and like who's nailed it, it seems to be Arsenal. Arsenal shirts definitely outnumber everybody else where I am.
Wow. I've been to the Arsenal Supporters Club in Miami, and they have a proper Arsenal bar every home game. And I've asked people in Miami, what other big supporters clubs are there in Miami? And they all say, like, with absolute clarity, like, there's no bigger one than Arsenal by some distance.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul says Fulham beating Juve in the Europa was class back in the day, Dean. Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
It was.
Trezeguet, Del Piero, yeah. And on the Serie A thing, someone did say you can't have 11 forwards. Just want to mention the last non-attacking player that won the Ballon d'Or was Cannavaro in 2006, Maldini. There's so many good Italian defenders, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Sorry, if I keep looking down and being distracted, it's because I'm getting transfer things through that I'm trying to track for my work as soon as this show ends. Because there's a lot going on at Tottenham at the moment, because Juve have been trying to sign Kolo Muani. Tottenham have been tempted to try and sign Mateta. And like, that's quite interesting because like Juve really want Kolo Muani, and Kolo Muani wanted to join Juventus at the start of the season. And they just couldn't find an agreement with
his
PSG.
Loan spell was all right, but
yeah, but then PSG and Juve just couldn't find terms on Kolo Muani.
Yeah.
And so he almost, not begrudgingly, but he joined Spurs because it was the next best offer. He went there and things aren't going great. And now Juve need a forward. So they've been trying to find out if Spurs would end that loan so that Kolo Muani could then go to Juve on loan. So I've been trying to figure that out. At the same time as Tottenham have been considering going in for Mateta, who now doesn't look like he's going to go in Nottingham Forest. AC Milan are bidding, so Tottenham bidding. So these are the sorts of messages that are cropping up on my phone right now. So that's why I'm distracted.
That transfer window will be closing very, very soon.
Yeah, and it's not a very good, it's not a great... I don't think it's going to be a great deadline day, if I'm totally honest. Like, there's not that much to be sorted out here. There's not that much desperation. There's not that much change going to go on. So, for some of the deadlines that we've seen over the years where it's been really exciting, I'm not really holding out for that at the moment.
Top 3 holding midfielders of all time. That's a great question. Wow. I don't know where I stand on that. The first name that comes to mind when I just think in my era of holding midfielder is Kante. I just think, and before that, you go, the Mukiele position was named after him.
Yeah.
But Kante was like an all-action hero version of Mukiele, even better.
Yeah, obviously, Mukiele kind of almost invented it in the sense that it now exists. But like before that, you've had like loads of players like
Xavi.
you could throw it back to Busquets has obviously been amazing at that kind
it's
of.
hard. You think of
Roy
the
Keane and
destruction
Vieira
players.
rattled people in ways that you can't do now, but like they were destroyer DMs who then had the other capabilities in their game.
Yeah, like Busquets and Kante. Or do you look at the deep line playmakers like a Xavi or a Pirlo? Because they're obviously holding midfielders, but very different profile of holding midfielder. You can't really compare Pirlo and Busquets or Pirlo and Kante, can you? It's almost like two different.
It's different, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. It depends what profile of player you like or what you're looking for. But yeah, that's where I'd kind of.
Fernandinho was so overrated, said Ice G.
I used to love it back when when Keane and Vieira could properly hurt people.
Yeah,
like that's what a defensive midfielder used to. You always used to have a player like that, like in your teams, because you'd play a 4-4-2, and one of the central midfielders would be a bit more of a guy that just sat, and he would be the guy that is willing to go hard into a tackle and not deliberately hurt people, but he doesn't mind if he leaves a stud in or whatever.
Gerrard did that quite well, didn't he?
And it used to be okay in the game. Obviously now, like, people don't allow it so much, and probably good. But the game did change in that sense.
Yeah, best ever. I'm struggling over the names we've mentioned. Paul says Carrick was pretty decent. Yeah, underrated Carrick and didn't get enough England caps. He was just part of that generation.
Yeah.
70% of the water covers the world, says FPO Joe, in relation to the Kante
I forgot about
comment. That. Yeah, so good. That England midfield that had because of 4-4-2, and it had Lampard and Gerrard, it was just never the right balance. But obviously they had players like Carrick, they just weren't starting them. And it was like he just square pegs, round holes.
Yeah, exactly. Let's bounce around a little bit. Steve, I don't have any news on Leeds having a backup for Strand Larsen. I mean, they definitely need one, because they would, in my eyes, never going to get Strand Larsen. Palace
ambitious, wasn't it?
Agreeing that deal now. Like, Leeds,
Calvert-Lewin's doing well though. If he can stay fit, it's fine.
They need another one though. Like we saw when they went through that little drought before Christmas, they need somebody else in the mix there. So I do think they'll sign someone.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Any transfer interest or likely ins or outs at Chelsea now? Because the chat has died down about Chelsea centre back and.
Well, they still might get Xhaka. They're letting that go to deadline day. Like they're asking the player to kind of not throw his toys out the pram, but at least try and push for it a little bit. So I do think that there's a small possibility of that happening for Chelsea. The fact that they've even looked at Douglas Luiz makes you think, well, they obviously want someone, so maybe they're looking for market opportunity in that sense. And there are a few, there's types like Ruben Neves and Wilfred Ndidi and these types of players that have been pushed to clubs. They've been offered, those types of players. Certainly Ruben Neves. It's just a case of whether they genuinely feel it's going to make a difference to them. Obviously, Raheem Sterling off the wage bill now, so that's very helpful. Paying $300,000 a week for a player that ain't playing for you is never helpful. And hopefully, Raz, now that he's free, can go and find some joy in the last couple of years of his career. So hopefully, he does manage to do that. Any news around Palace wanting Gesson? Well, if they sign Strand
traveling to London now, apparently for a medical.
Yeah, he's been a bit blocked at Villa, hasn't he? So
he started the season like being a starter on the right hand side, but just then fell off a cliff.
Yeah, he's a good player. I don't have any details on that one, Boz. It'll be one that I do have to work on today, though. So I might be doing some of that for Team Talk or Flash Score later in the day. So maybe keep an eye on those two.
James Savundra, who does well with Palace stuff, he's just tweeted that he's on his way to London for a medical. So I think sounds like pretty solid. I don't know if they need him. Like he's not going to start for Palace either. Like Ismail Assar, and they've obviously just signed Brennan Johnson. And if they've got Strand Larsen, like they're wide forward slots. It's between Pino.
I think they're desperate, mate. I think they're panicking that they're going down. I think that they're worried they're going down. I think that's part of the case here.
Form is they're winless in 10.
Like on form, like they are heading into the relegation zone. So maybe it's just to bring in another goal outlet, knowing that Mateta's not going to be around, and just making sure that they've got enough to avoid the drop, because they cannot afford to do that. Boz, does it mean Mateta is off? In terms of, is he leaving? Yeah, Mateta will now leave. Yeah, he's been pushing for that for 2 weeks.
Yeah, he done. Swerve him in FPL, guys, because there's a very good chance he's leaving for overseas to Serie A. Keep the questions going in. Oscar Bob going in your Fulham team, Dean. I mean, does he come in and start straight away? It's a big money buy, but, Smith Rowe's your record signing, and there's no pressure for Silva to start him. He is now, but he wasn't earlier in the season when King was playing well. Does Bob come straight in?
I doubt it. I mean, we signed Kevin at that sort of level too, and he didn't play him straight away. Still doesn't always play him. Obviously, Harry Wilson's in form. See what happens with his contract. But at the moment, Harry Wilson's obviously nailed on. Chukwueze's playing really well. We've got a lot of players, to be honest, who are like of that type. I think Oscar Bobb's just like such a good player for Fulham to be able to sign. Like, I'm very surprised that we've got him. Like, potentially, this is an amazing transfer for Fulham.
Agreed.
Like, he really is that good. Like, he's not far off what Cole Palmer was. Like, you look at the players that have come through at Man City. He's not far off like Cole Palmer level of when he was at Man City. He's actually probably done. Has he done more for Man City, mate? Probably. So very exciting signing for Fulham. It's just a case of fitting them all in. But obviously, Adama Traore good has gone. Gone
back to his dad Nuno.
Yeah, sorry West Ham that you've now got him. He's not very good.
Yeah, Nuno loves him. Would have liked Wanyeri to go to Fulham. He's obviously went to Marseille, scored a couple of days in. Peter says, gee, how do you feel about Nedved as a player? I feel like he's really underrated and he was one of my favourite players when I was younger. Yeah, I mean, Nedved won the Ballon d'Or. Like, I've just looking through that list. Like, he was on there. I think it was around 2004. That amazing season he had for Juventus was unbelievable. When Juve came in and bought him from Lazio, I think it was very close to a world record at the time. Like, it was huge money. So, unbelievable player. Like, Nedved's a throwback. They don't make him like that anymore. Like, he was hardy. He could get stuck in, but he had the flair alongside the grit. Like, I love that.
Yeah. Here's a bit of news. Karim Benzema refused to play today for Al Ittihad just hours before the game, said he wasn't playing after hearing of the ridiculous offer the club have made to renew his contract. He considers it an insult to his career and he felt humiliated by the new salary proposal. I don't know what it is. It's just a thing that's just cropped up. But like, what do you reckon he's on? 20 quid an hour? Like, what do you reckon they've offered him?
I mean,
the money
for Benzema when he moved there was insane, wasn't it? Like, his contract was ridiculous. So sure, it's lower because they've already got the player, but it's not going to be. He's not going to go get more in Europe.
Humiliated. Like, can he please come and see what
wind it in?
Like everybody else in the world is, how everyone else in the world is getting on right now. That is just absolutely ridiculous. But it might, you never know, spark something for him to happen at the end of a transfer window. So you never know. Keep an eye on that one.
$12.50 an hour says final offer, says Joe.
Yeah, you can.
There's a few it works at Domino's Pro League, Dean. I noticed or rumours like Diaby was linked with Inter Milan yesterday. I saw like are players actually starting to. The money's still there and they're still going to start, but they're still going to buy Salah at the end of the season, all that jazz. But is the draw a little bit lower? Have they had their initial wave and now are some starting to?
It ain't going to work.
Even Tony.
It's not going to work.
No.
I was always convinced it
like China years ago.
It's been better than China. It's gone better than China. Okay. The league's better than China. The standard's better. All of it's a bit better than China when they tried.
The players are better. Yeah.
And they've taken it more seriously. And I've seen a few games and the games are pretty good.
Yeah.
But the attendances aren't really there either. Like, not all the time. I've seen some games, I'm like, this place is half empty. So
a cultural thing maybe around football still and just getting bums on seats, or is it just are they? I wonder if they're getting the TV numbers globally.
Yeah, I doubt it. I mean, do you know anyone that sits and watches Saudi football?
No, I don't. And do you know what? If it was on UK TV though, I would be interested in some games because I do look at the 11s and go, whoa, full of ballers. Yeah,
occasionally we do get them here. So say sometimes I watch it. Occasionally it'll be on one of the channels, and like let's say YouTube TV actually tends to have some of them. And I get to see some good ones in terms of the actual, the excitement around it. But Yeah, it's unfortunately just not going to work out for them, and all those players are going to end up going back to Europe, and I don't think they'll entice too many people over there at the height of their career. But Salah's obviously Salah's the last real push at it, really, because he's the one they really want. He appeals to so much of the market.
Yeah.
And he could really change how it's viewed, like in a different way to how Ronaldo's done it. You know, he appeals to a different type of person, different type of fan, different culture, I guess. And
yeah,
so
like buying the best Muslim in the world.
yeah,
Salah,
I mean, that is different. Like that is different. And they would like to believe that will happen. I think Salah is open to it too. Yeah. So I think that'll be the last roll of the dice, really. If Salah can open the door and maybe get some of his ex-teammates to go over there too and stuff, then maybe it does one last burst of life.
Vissa, love this question. D&G, what are you going to do with all that spare time? I'm just going to call Dean for an hour every Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily spare time when you bear in mind I do with a deadline show at midnight. Not really spare time. I should be asleep.
It's not spare time for me either. It just means I have to put the kids to bed more often.
Yeah, so you've got awkward times as well. Like I remember we started CGA and it would always be 7:00.
Yeah.
And at the time of CGA, if it was 4 years ago, I mean, I would have had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Wow, that's me now pretty much.
And I can remember the struggle of starting at 7 p.m. because like it was bedtime.
Yeah.
And you feel so guilty anyway.
Because you can't do both. When it's 1 and 3, how do you put them both down as one person, which is what my wife's doing now and yours did for so long.
So hard.
That's tough.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
And I can remember like we'd either just try and like wait until after or try and get it done before. Or sometimes I'd just hear crying in the background. And like when that happens, you just get this like anxiety feeling of just feeling like bad, basically, because like you're feeling bad for your wife at that moment. And also like you do kind of like to be around for that moment. Anyway, so I don't miss having those 7:00 ones. But yeah, it's kind of work hours. It's just hours I'll be doing, hopefully other work. Yeah, so we'll still talk to each other. Don't worry. I mean, this isn't I don't think Saturday will be the last time me and G ever speak to each other.
Not.
Stagger bedtimes. See, it's not really possible when they're 3 and 1 though, because the 3-year-old ain't just going to sit there and chill. That's the problem.
And the 1-year-old, or for me, the 12-week-old, it takes an hour and a half to put them down. It's such a long process. So if it was 20 minutes, the 3-year-old could wait, but it's not, is it?
Oh, I forgot.
Mate, it takes me. I do Gigi and Cam does Gaia, so I get him. I'll finish now and I'll bath him, and then after bath, bedtime starts straight away. It's like bottle and bed because he has a bottle at night. He's boobed the rest of the time, and from the minute he comes out the bath to when I actually put him in his cot, it's anywhere between 90 minutes and 2 hours. And I'm there in a dark room. Because once he's in, I've got to keep him upright for 40 minutes. So he'll vomit everywhere.
It's so crazy. And like, some people don't have difficulties with all of this. Oh, God, and they're able to just, like, their kids just seem to go asleep. I don't know how they've done that because neither of mine have done that.
Right.
But
good.
Like
That's
the tedium.
I'm glad.
Yeah, the tedium of putting kids to bed at that age. I like the mental toll, and you think they're asleep and then they're not. They open their eyes, or they like start to cry, or like you go to put them down and you like leave your hands like there just touching a part of them for a second, and you're slowly pulling it away, and then you're
and you hope you don't need to cough or sneeze, because if you do, it's curtains,
and then you're just like literally like creeping out of the room. Like I can remember doing that sometimes, like especially for this show, and I'd like think I've got a baby to sleep. It's like, yes, they're asleep before the show starts, and I come out, yes, they've stayed asleep, and then you come in and you start recording. 5 minutes in, you can just hear crying, and you're just like,
oh my God,
you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. Yeah, no more children for me. I can confirm. I'm not going back to those days.
Yeah, I'm glad they won't last for forever. I mean, it is a precious time for many reasons, but the amount of hours that I commit to bedtime each week is taxing.
Well, mate, were you? Someone just asked about World Cup fantasy. Will you do that, or will you avoid it to give yourself the break? What do you think you do?
I'm gonna do it because I'm quite excited about the World Cup. So I'm definitely gonna do it. I'm probably only gonna do like one video each round of so what's that, like 10 videos or something, but I'll definitely be doing it. I'm quite excited to do it on my channel. I might even sort of rebrand just for the event because I just think there's going to be so many eyes on the World Cup, and I think with the US market liking fantasy, I do think there'll be a lot of new eyes on soccer from a US market, and if they're watching the soccer, there's a very good chance if FIFA promote it well enough, they'll be playing. They'll give the fantasy game a go.
Maybe. I'll do some groundwork on that, see if that's true. But
I'd love to know if. I mean, it depends if FIFA put the game out there.
Depends how good the game is, to be honest. Yeah, it depends.
And it was rubbish when we were. Do you remember when in Qatar we tried doing the FIFA game?
Rubbish.
They made errors. It was.
How can you get that wrong?
You could change your captain during the match during the actual day, not from one day to another, but during the fixtures. So like early kickoff, one guy.
Yep, you can switch him over.
Another.
Why?
It was too complex.
Be able to do that? Like, that's stupid. It needs to be very just top level. Like, it can't be too detailed.
Yeah.
You've got to have it so that you're locking in a team and you haven't got to worry about being so entrenched in it that you're going to need to know every kick throughout the minutes of the day.
Yeah, it's too much. Yeah, to play the World Cup game, it felt like you had to be on the app making changes. I don't mind making changes at the end of each day like I do in Champions League, but you were having to make 4 or 5 changes a day.
Yeah,
like captaincy and subs, it was too much.
That was way too much. Yeah, we did try it for a bit, didn't we? But it didn't really take off. Right, last 5 minutes, people. I've got another meeting to get on.
No DEFCON then, says FPL Joe. Yeah, there won't be
no DEFCON. No DEFCON. No in-game week changes, like that sort of stuff. Just, it's too detailed. It's just not necessary for, especially a short competition when you need to get your heads around it.
Especially if you want to appeal to new players. The last thing you want to do with any game is make it too complex. If you're appealing to a more casual market that's never played a fantasy soccer game before, make it simple. Simplicity is genius.
100%.
Loving all the questions, guys. Thank you. We will be answering your FPL questions on Saturday. Heather wants to know what came first, the chicken or the egg. I've always thought the egg. I just thought the egg might drop from space, but the egg.
Well, I'll go for chicken then, and just be like, it just must have formed somehow, right? Like, it's just suddenly like evolution just suddenly grew a chicken and it could lay an egg. Like,
just out of nowhere, one just an egg,
just grew out of the ground, and that was that.
Jay, you're an absolute legend. Thank you very much. And look, on Saturday, we'll come with our honours list and our thank you messages to all of you individually.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thanks.
Maybe we'll put on the strap at the bottom of the screen all of our channel members as well. We can do that for Saturday, so you at least have a shout out there. But special shout out to CH, to Jay, to Paul, to Glenn, to Sigurd. So many of you, you know who you are, all your members. Wazza too, FPL Joe's in the house.
Yeah, honestly, some of you stood by us a lot through this. So thank you for that. FPL Joe, thoughts on 3 p.m. blackout? Well, now I'm seeing all the games at 3 p.m.
It's not a blackout.
It's not a blackout for me. I just got to watch it at 7 a.m. and it's fine, and I love it. I do still kind of understand why there is a blackout. I do think there should be one game shown at 3 o'clock.
I like that.
I think they can like make an exception, even if it's like not even the best game. Like, just put a game.
I quite like that.
You can, and then you have the results being shown around it. I think that is a good way to placate people for now, because it doesn't seem acceptable that every other country can watch it apart from England. So I think start to accept that they need some access to a game. I think that's the way to go.
Little Miss FPL, you're a hero too. Thank you for your messages.
Yeah, thank you. Guys.
Sam and Lee says, am I worried about Italy reaching the World Cup? I mean, the playoffs, I'm nervous. 28th of March or end of March. But yeah, of course, if they do, then Gattuso will head the team. But I'm a bit worried. We've probably got to go to Wales and beat Cardiff. Beat Wales in Cardiff. That'll be the final for Italy's. It's already been drawn.
That'll be a good game, yeah.
Yeah, it will be. I'm a bit nervous about Harry Wilson knocking us out. But if you can't beat Wales, you don't deserve to go to a World Cup.
No, absolutely.
You know,
even this World Cup, you should be at anyway, given the amount of teams that are in it.
Yeah. Dean and Gianni, what was better, DEFCON or assistant manager? I liked the assistant manager. I thought it was fun.
I don't pay any attention to DEFCON, Eddie. Like literally none. Not every week. Don't even look at it. If someone doesn't
pay a
take a
huge
point,
amount, and
I'm like, cool.
I think I like it.
Yeah, I'm more like, who's going to score? That's it.
I pay a huge amount, and I'm 700,000 places behind Dean.
maybe it'll pay off across the course of the season. CH says we're both correct. Re, the chicken and the egg. She won't bore us with the science and evolution behind it. That makes sense. They could just both things could happen.
Yeah, coexist.
Nice on CH. Yeah, those two things could happen. Where do you think Liverpool will finish in the Premier League this season? Heather's a Liverpool fan. I don't know if we knew that.
Not in the top. Wow, it's going to be top 5, isn't it? You're going to need 5th.
I think 5th. I do think 5th. Yeah, I do think 5th.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Villa to fall off a cliff, and I don't see any sign of that happening. So let's assume Villa make it, and let's assume I think we should assume Chelsea and Man United make it. Then that could mean Liverpool 6th. But I don't know.
Yeah. It's big. Got to make that top 5.
Yeah. Guys, I think that's all we've got time for. It's 6:00. We've got kids to put to bed. We've got days to have if you're in San Diego like Dean. We will be back Saturday morning. I think we're doing 8 a.m. And I know the deadline is later on Saturday, but it's midnight for Dean at 8. So we're not going to push it any later than that.
It'll be lucky to get me midnight.
Yeah. And you might have had a drink or two. So we look forward to that. Come by 8
I haven't decided yet. Yeah. Do I break do I break the drought? Yeah. We'll see. San Diego Seals will decide. See what kind of occasion it feels like at the old lacrosse.
Yes. I look forward to hearing about the lacrosse and the San Diego Seals. Guys, before you leave, if you hit the like button, it just helps the algorithm a little bit. If you fancy doing that, do it. If not, we'll see you Saturday. Bye-bye.